If a couple has decided to divorce, what are the first three things they should do?
I think the first thing someone should do if they're contemplating a divorce is to consult with an attorney. You don't have to hire the attorney at the outset, but it's important to get certain information so that you're armed with information for two reasons. It gives you peace of mind that what you're about to go through you can handle, but it also gives you certain information that you can use in speaking with your soon-to-be ex-spouse about issues that are about to face the family in the short term. An attorney at that consultation can give you the core procedures and process so you know what is ahead of you. They can explain to you practical issues that your family may be facing, and they can also explain to you the law and the legal principles and issues that may arise in your case, and that will allow you to hopefully be comfortable and confident moving forward through the process.
When you are going to the attorney for the initial consultation, should you have already talked to your spouse?
It depends. Of course, if there's issues of potential domestic violence, I would not recommend that you talk to your spouse first. Talking to the attorney's not going to immediately write a letter to your spouse. So if you're going through the process and you're really just in a fact finding, that's your goal is to determine facts and understand the process, you don't need to talk to your spouse. But I always think that to the extent the parties are both reasonable, that it open dialogue between the parties does not hurt anyone, and nobody likes the first communication they get from their spouse regarding a divorce to be a letter from an attorney. So, to the extent the parties are able to retain some sort of amicable relationship, I encourage open dialogue, whether it's before or after you consult with an attorney. So, the first thing I would always say is consult with an attorney. You don't have to hire them at the outset, but it's important information to get. Secondly, and possibly just as importantly, is to focus on yourself and your family. A lot of people, and this is natural, you get bogged down in the day-to-day conflict with your soon-to-be ex-spouse when really the focus should be on your long-term goals and the long-term outlook of your family. To that end, our office and the attorneys in my office frequently recommend that people have their support system and rely on their support system, whether it's trusted family members or friends. And we also encourage people to speak with, whether it's a therapist or a counselor or a health professional. They're very useful in these cases. Lawyers, our job is to assist you going through the divorce process through the courts, and we have an expertise in the law. Medical professionals have an expertise in dealing with people going through the divorce and dealing with the emotional and traumatic issues that people deal with. So there's a way to balance both the lawyer and the medical professional and assisting the client to get to the finish line in a divorce. So dealing with yourself and your own emotional well-being is very important. And aside from just dealing with yourself, dealing with issues with regarding children, when children are at issue, is equally important. The third thing, and more pragmatic, I would recommend that parties almost immediately begin putting together documentation that they want to show their attorney. This includes financial documentation, tax returns and W-2s, income information, pay stubs, a list of assets and liabilities with documentation showing the values of those accounts. The reason for that is it can be quite a task to put all of this together in a short amount of time, but it's also very important to present this to your lawyer as soon as possible because it allows us to, one, guide you and start to craft a strategy. It assists us with the filings that are necessary with the course. And almost more important than that, it allows us to start having an open dialogue with the other attorney and the other party. And once we start exchanging those documents and having open communication, then we can start talking about settling your case. So the sooner we get the documents, the sooner we can launch into settlement discussions, and hopefully the sooner we can settle the case, which saves parties time, money, and the ongoing emotional trauma that is often associated with a divorce.
Great info. Thank you, Brian.
My pleasure.